over the course of exploration or curiosity, we get to the stage where we realize that everything that we knew was fine, but it was just the beginning. So I often think about this with a little bit of a visualization, that if we think about what we're doing in our work and as a leader, in our organizations, in our hierarchical position, it's like a sort of a walled garden. So it's a beautiful walled garden. It can be for many of us. You know, we've chosen it. There's lots to do. There's lots of flowers to tend and, you know, work to do, etc. And we don't even know that we're in a walled garden because the walls are all covered with plants. So we just think that is the horizon. But what if we really noticed and looked and pushed away some of those and realized there was a door? And that in fact the door wasn't even locked, and we could open it, and you walk through the door, and there's not just your beautiful walled garden to tend, but in actual fact, there's a wood and there's a meadow and there's a stream and there's, you know, there's all different landscapes, there's some mountains. So there's a whole range of ways in which we can be, not just the ways in which we have been led to believe we need to be. And so when I sort of take my next metaphor to explain that, you know, when we're climbing up the rungs of our organizations into our hierarchical position of leadership, we're doing so in structures that really are focused on task and team. So we're focused on leading tasks through a team of people. Whereas in actual fact, there's a mindset shift because there comes a point where you literally cannot throw any more at that. It can become exhausting. It also is limiting to some extent our potential as leaders and the potential of our teams. The great joy of awakened leadership is recognizing that there's a whole new language we can learn that we're able to kind of use to magnify, to amplify everything we're able to do. So if I think of that as, you know, if we're climbing up this mountain and we get to the top and we've arrived, we might have reached, you know, a very senior level. We might only have a short runway to go till we get to that executive position. We might be in the executive position, whatever. We've arrived, but we actually haven't arrived. We've literally just got to the door in the walled garden. We've just got to that point where we realize that actually, in order to have this impact more broadly and to, you know, be able to lead people well, there's another mountain that is actually all about leading human and system, because what we do is focused on how we're leading other people. So we have to understand ourselves and people as human beings in order to do that. It doesn't matter how much we understand about the task or the subject matter. And that's quite a big thing to get to as a leader, because surely we've got here because we were really good at this leadership stuff. The amazing leaders are always seeking their next level of impact. You never rely on, you know, the thing that you achieved in the past being the thing that propels you forward. So that awakening, it's so freeing and liberating as well, because there are ways in which you can lead people that do give you energy rather than take energy away from you. When we're doing this work in terms of awakened leadership, it's not necessarily about teaching a new model of leadership or a new theory of leadership. There's brilliant models and theories of leadership, and they're all really, really helpful. This next level of work is not really about learning another concept. It's about practically rooting habits that adjust in the way that you show up every day, that create a different outcome. So it's using all of those models and using everything that we've learned about what leadership is, about what emotional intelligence is, and exploring how, with a very practical mindset, you turn that into daily habits that actually mean that you become that rather than just understand it. So I have this vision that if in any organization there are enough people in leadership positions, so in the hierarchy of the organisation, because culture is determined from the top of the organisation. There's no doubt about it. It is the system that we are within. So if there is enough understanding and then translation of that into behaviour and action and ways of being, we would transform our organisations, absolutely transform them, because we would do less checking and more trusting. We would create laser sharp clarity, not opaqueness, so people don't really know what they're doing, and misunderstandings. We would create and unlock the innovation and capability and creativity of the amazing people in our organisation, rather than that being sort of either passive or needing hierarchical position to come out, because we would have a really clear shared direction. And we would have organisations which are made up of human people. Technology makes us even more reliant on the humanity exchange in order to be able to make really good intuitive decisions. So we would be balancing both our drive for results and our outcomes and our optimization and our efficiency and our profits alongside our ability to be sustainable for the long term. And I don't mean just sustainable in the environmental sense, absolutely, but also just in the sense of, creating momentum for the future. We would be able to work based on how people feel, which is how most decisions are ultimately made in our lives. And it's how we interact with people is an emotional state. So we would be able to balance both of those things. So even if you believe that the ultimate aim of any organisation or system is to drive profit or to grow at this rate or to deliver this amount of productivity or whatever it is, that is only heightened by stronger mastery of leading people. It's never diminished by it. And if someone is working from their awakened leadership state, they absolutely know that to be true, and therefore can trust that results will actually come from those intuitive actions, as well as the focus on delivery. It's not that you just focus on delivery and when you've got it, then you do these other things. It's actually the other way around.